What if this ceasefire extension isn't really about peace at all, but about buying time and setting the stage for something bigger? What if this pause is just a calculated move, not a genuine effort?
Or what if it's even more strategic than that? A condition designed in a way that peace talks fail before they begin. Because sometimes the rules of the game decide the win.
The US didn't just extend the ceasefire without reason. It clearly demanded a unified proposal from Iran before talks proceed. That shows structure, not sabotage, at least from one perspective.
And that one condition, simple as it sounds, might actually be the most powerful pressure tool in this situation. Because not every demand is meant to be fulfilled.
The ceasefire extension is a clear attempt to avoid immediate conflict, giving both sides space to think instead of rushing into escalation. It shows restraint, especially in a tense and unpredictable situation.
Restraint doesn't come with blockades and military pressure, because those signals contradict the idea of peace entirely. What you call restraint, others might see as controlled pressure.
Pressure is part of every serious negotiation in global politics, because without leverage, agreements rarely move forward. This is about ensuring the talks actually produce results.
But when pressure becomes overwhelming, it stops being negotiation and starts looking like coercion. And coercion rarely leads to stable peace agreements. Iran is not operating as a single voice right now. There are internal debates and disagreements shaping decisions. Expecting instant unity under pressure is unrealistic.
But negotiations require clarity and commitment, and a unified proposal ensures that agreements are reliable. Without that, talks could collapse later anyway.
Internal discussion is a natural political process, and forcing unity too quickly can weaken the outcome. Strong agreements take time, not pressure.
And time is exactly what this ceasefire extension provides, a window for Iran to organize and present a clear position. That's not unreasonable in high-stakes diplomacy. This is a strategic pause designed to prevent escalation while still maintaining readiness in case things go wrong. It's a balance between caution and control.
It's not just a pause. It's a calculated position where pressure continues even while talks are being discussed. That creates tension instead of reducing.
Controlled tension is sometimes necessary to avoid chaos, because complete relaxation can invite risky behavior. This approach keeps both sides cautious.
Or it keeps one side constantly under pressure, which can push decisions in the wrong direction. Tension doesn't always lead to better outcomes.
Even U.S. leadership has pointed out internal divisions in Iran, which makes a unified proposal even more important. It ensures consistency in any agreement reached.
Highlighting those divisions while demanding unity creates a situation where pressure increases internally. That's not neutral. It's strategic influence.
Because without internal agreement, any external deal risks falling apart quickly. Stability starts from within.
But forcing that stability from outside pressure can actually deepen divisions instead of resolving them. And that makes negotiations even harder. If Iran fails to present a unified proposal, the narrative becomes very simple and one-sided. It shifts blame entirely onto Iran.
And if Iran succeeds, then talks move forward with clarity and direction. That's a fair and logical outcome.
But the challenge itself may be uneven, making success harder than it appears on the surface. That's where the real imbalance lies.
Negotiations always involve difficult conditions, and meeting them is part of proving seriousness. That's how trust is built. What if this condition isn't only about negotiation, but also about shaping how the situation unfolds? What if it defines success and failure in advance?
Exactly, because once the condition is set, the outcome can be interpreted in a specific way. That's where control begins to appear.
This situation affects global markets and regional stability, which makes structured negotiations extremely important. Uncertainty at this level impacts everyone.
And yet, the current approach increases uncertainty because pressure and conditions create unpredictability. The world is watching, but also waiting.
Waiting for a response that could stabilize things and move discussions into a more structured phase. That response is now crucial.
Or waiting for a breakdown that leads to escalation, because not all conditions lead to cooperation. Some lead to conflict instead. So the real question becomes very simple. Is this a genuine opportunity for peace, or a strategic shift of responsibility?
It's an opportunity, but one that demands clarity, because without clear intentions, talks cannot succeed. Both sides have a role to play here.
And if the requirement itself blocks progress, then the opportunity may not be as real as it seems. That's where doubt begins. The demand for a unified proposal does more than guide talks. It shapes how failure will be explained to the world. That's the hidden layer in this decision.
Meaning, if negotiations collapse, the responsibility appears one-sided, even if the situation is more complex.
Exactly. And that's what makes this move powerful. Because control over the narrative is control over perception, and perception shapes global opinion.
So what we see is a ceasefire that offers time, but also sets expectations that must be met. It's both an opportunity and a test.
And a situation that appears calm on the surface, while pressure continues underneath. That contrast defines everything.
The next move will decide the direction, whether toward negotiation or escalation. That moment is approaching.
And when it arrives, we'll finally understand if this was diplomacy or just a pause before something bigger.